So this is a review of this HOTO cordless brushless drill tool set. I bought this about a year ago and thought I would make a review of it. So I'm not a professional, I'm just a homeowner that has to do usual homeowner stuff. And about a year ago, I felt like my tools in my office were getting out of hand, and I thought this would be one nice clean package of all of the tools that I use regularly. So, and it accomplished that for the most part. So here's kind of my review. Um, I paid, I believe, $185 for this. It was on sale, and as of January of 2024, it looks like it's 230 right now, but there's a coupon, um, so it probably will go back down to that 180 something at some point, which seemed like a pretty decent deal for this nice little kit and these and a brushless drill. So, so the first problem I guess I have with this is I guess I should start with the whole experience of having this. So first of all, it's very nice. Packs away very clean. You can put it up, so that's great. That was one of the reasons I got it. That's one of the things I love about it is that I put it away. This is it. I can keep this tool set upstairs, and it takes care of all of my tool needs for the most part. So uh, my first complaint is that I would only expect to turn it this way and open it like this, and this is backwards. So every time that I open this, I have to remember that this is the way to open it, which just doesn't seem normal because it's always packaged away like this. I'll kind of pull it out from somewhere and I'll turn it over, and then I want to open it, kind of turn it like this and open it this way, like a book, just based on where this logo is, but it needs to go this way. So in this kit, you get a screwdriver, hammer, adjustable wrench, some pliers, a tape measure, and then you have this drill and some drill bits. Um, and so that works good. You can see it's kind of got some dust in here, as you imagine most of its life with the drill is mounting things on the wall. So I'll just kind of go through these one at a time. So first of all, screwdriver. Screwdriver's fine. I almost never use the screwdriver, so that's kind of the end of that. But it feels good in the hand, and you can use these bits in there, and it works great. It's a little magnetic, not overly powerful. So the next thing will be this hammer. So this hammer is, you can see I haven't even taken the paper off the end. I haven't had to pull any nails or pry anything out with it. I think anything I've run into, I've probably pulled out with the pliers since I've had this. It has some glue right here. That's kind of a little not awesome looking, but for the most part, it's just a little home um, repair kit. And I have used the hammer quite a bit, and it works fine, for usual house things. There's this little soft cover so that if you need to hit something that you don't want to hurt, you can put that on there. Unfortunately, this thing is very thin, and I can't remember what it was that I hit, but I hit something and it kind of cut through those a little bit, um, but it hasn't stopped this from protecting other things. Um, so it's pretty good. Adjustable wrench. I kind of hate adjustable wrenches for the most part, but this one opens pretty smoothly, and I have only had to use it occasionally. It I can say I don't hate it any more or less than any other adjustable wrenches that I use, which I personally don't like very much. However, I did have one time. It's got a little bit more play in the wrench than I would expect, and I did have to um, detach a pipe when I was changing a shower head, and it seemed like this slid on the pipe and it got wedged kind of in an open position. And then I couldn't actually turn this thing. I had to get some vice grips just to clamp on this thing and turn it just a little bit so that I could get it loosened up because it was kind of wedged. So that was something very unfortunate that I've never encountered before with another one of these. So one other thing worth noting is that you have to close this wrench all the way to put it in here. And that is fine. It looks pretty, but it's kind of, you end up having this ritual every time you take this thing out and put everything back. So you can't just kind of grab it like you maybe used to just grabbing a tool. So I was saying that these pliers are great. The spring is a little too springy for my taste. I did order a nice pair of Knipex um, to replace these at one point in the past over the year, and I ended up sending them back just because they didn't have a spring, and I realized that I actually did want a spring. So even if it was not quite as springy as this, these actually work pretty well. So I have never used these crimpers or wire strippers really. I just normally strip them with a razor knife. But as far as pliers go, these have been fine and they're very comfortable. So, and they feel pretty good. My one probably complaint with these would be that the putting away part is a little um, just some of these tools, like the hammer is really easy to put in there. Screwdriver, I feel like it's pretty easy to put in there as well. But this thing, I feel like is a little fussy, and the same thing with this. You have to kind of hold them down. So the next thing is tape measure. So tape measure is actually pretty nice. I like using it, and I would say this is um, probably one of my favorite parts of this toolkit actually. So it's a little thin, so I wouldn't buy one of these if I was at, Home Depot or Lowe's ever. But this is definitely the tool that once I take it out, I've normally felt like, oh, I like it. I like the feel of it, and I use it a lot. The stop is pretty good, and it's got a good snap when it comes in. So the stiffness on it is nothing crazy, but I mean, here we are at 5 feet. That's a little over 5 feet for a tape measure this small before it breaks. So I'm usually not doing that, but it's just worth noting. So this is my one complaint, I guess, with this is that I always want to put this back like this. And part of the benefit of this whole case was supposed to be the idea of putting things back and getting them out. It should be kind of fast. And I think, yeah, it goes in like that. So really I really wish that was a little bit more intuitive. So, but it kind of is what it is. So the next thing we'll move on to kind of the big cost for this kit is this drill. And this drill's, it's fine. So I've historically in my life just used, things like homeowner stuff. I've had like DeWalt and Ryobi kind of things mostly, and a couple of rigid things that I've borrowed from my dad. And I just put my Ryobi stuff in the garage, which was the last set that I had, and I thought, well, I'll get this because this should be fine in the house. So, and this drill is actually pretty good, So it's USB-C charging. It's 18 volts. It's uh it's plenty powerful to do stuff you need to do in the house, putting up shelves, drilling holes in walls and stuff like that. So um, my one complaint, I guess, about this would be it's a little bit louder than I expected it to be. And you can see it doesn't have, I mean, I can move it to screw and then you can adjust it down with this to make it very sensitive. And so it can be kind of quiet, but it's in speed 2, it's louder than I would expect. I have uh, an impact wrench here. You can hear it. I mean, it's a little bit whinier in that case than this, but this thing, it also feels like it needs to spin up a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of a Bosch that I had that I felt like when I pulled the trigger, there was like maybe a microsecond of lag. So I usually just keep it in drill mode unless I'm doing something kind of sensitive, in which case you can turn it down. So it is, this is another thing that I would say I don't really love about this, and it is adjusting the speed over here. So it's funny because and as an example for something that has another weird situation, I have this Milwaukee 3-in-1 or 5-in-1 or 4-in-1, whatever the tool is. And this thing is fine, but it has the forward and reverse up on top. And so that is something everybody in the world that has to deal with that, goes, hey, why don't you put it on the side? Look, it's on the side here. It's even on the side here, So why in the world are we not doing the sensitivity adjustments just kind of in the normal place where everybody expects them to be? Um, that's okay, but it's not ideal. So that would be my couple of complaints with this. So my other complaint is the chuck. So I really would prefer to have a hex chuck here for a home drill. So I don't really know why they don't do that. And I actually put a adapter in here. I just kept it right here for most of the year, and I would put it in here and use it to just slot those in there. Um, but all the drill bits are like that. So I'm not really sure why they didn't just include a hex chuck and then include, these are already hexes, and so just include hex bits. I feel like that would have made this so much better, but um, it is what it is. So it has been, it's been pretty good, and I don't know that I would say I wish I could send it back or anything like that. I feel like it has done its job well. For me, I need a little bit more um, for some of my tools in general, but for having a toolkit in the house, I've found this to be great. I have taken to just putting this upstairs, and that way I don't have to go and look for any of these tools. So the one problem is that I don't really ever need the screwdriver because I would just use the drill, and I generally would prefer not to ever use this. Um, and so, you know, I have I had to add it a long time ago. This is the HOTO screw screwdriver, electric screwdriver, and so this works great. But again, this is also, it's kind of pretty. And so it comes in this nice case, which is probably part of the cost that you spend. I think there's better actual screwdrivers, electric screwdrivers out there, but this one's been pretty good. And so I generally keep this upstairs as well. And normally, if I need to use these, something like an adjustable wrench, I will go and get these. And so, other than that, though, it's pretty solid. I I wish it opened the right way. I wish a couple of the places with the tools were not quite so fiddly. And um, I other than that, I think it's fine. And I just keep this with it so that I have a little screwdriver to use. So this also helps with the problem that if you're doing kind of stuff around the house, I feel like one of the problems I had with just this was that I would constantly be changing between a drill bit and like a screw bit. So, I need to screw something in, but I may need to drill a hole first, or I may need to put some kind of anchor in. And so I just would use this for drilling and then use this screwdriver for putting in the screws. And that would usually do the trick. So um, I would probably give it a 4.5 out of 5, maybe a 5 out of 5 for what it's supposed to do. It does what it's supposed to do really well, just with those kind of minor complaints. If I could snap my fingers and change something about this, I would I would make the screwdriver. I would have a place to include the electric screwdriver in here, so I could have them both in here. I would make those pliers a little bit less springy. I would trade the adjustable wrench out for something like that, and I would turn the placement of the tape measure to where it made more sense to me to put it in there. And I would change the chuck out for a hex chuck instead of I think it's called a Jacob's chuck, with that twisty chuck. So the twisty chuck also doesn't lock in as well as some of the other chucks that I've used. I have some Milwaukee chucks and DeWalt chucks, and depending on how high quality they are, they kind of will twist in and kind of lock in and have a. So this one I have had the bits come out and stuff like that. So, um, but other than those very few things, which I would happily pay another $50 or $100 for if I could put this in here and consolidate those things. That's really my main complaint um, would be solved. Although I should mention, I may do another review on this, that they actually do make a case that does not have the drill. See, look at that. I put it backwards. Doesn't have the drill. And so I keep this one downstairs as a electric screwdriver right now, but you can see the same issues persist. Still have these. This thing is still mounted sideways for some reason, and these are still very springy. And you can see that just trying to get them out and put them in is I mean, it's fine. It's nice that they fit away like that, but it's just, you know, as someone who prior to purchasing these types of kits, I always had just tools in a tool bag. That putting in and getting out of these tools is a little much for me. So if I could change it, I would, but it's a trade-off to having it all in one nice, neat little kit. So anyway, that's it.